Well, we are at Dayton right now. We all got to Dayton just in time for me to go race Gorgeous Package. I thought she raced well. In hindsight, do I think the math worked out? Maybe that was a little bit my fault. She felt great. This track is lightning fast right now. Like, crossed over easy. I didn't want to go too slow because I didn't want to have anybody coming at me at the quarter pole. I thought 26 and 4, yes, was hot, but it didn't feel like I got up there at 26 and 4, and I felt like I was walking her along. Again, second quarter and 28 and 4, half and 55 and 3. I heard a lot of people picking at their horses and chirping, not Chris in behind me. So I just let her float along down the backstretch, and I think the biggest thing that probably happened was if I let Danny get up beside me, Chris, he wins anyway. The horse was obviously loaded, but he would have got up the inside and won. Would have the Jammies horse get up there too? I don't know. I just felt the way she was rolling along the whole mile that, and again, I didn't see 51 speed coming from the one horse. I thought she was as good as me, and off the fractions I had with my race, with my trip going the way it went, I thought I was probably the winner, and at the worst, second. I knew that Danny's horse was kind of pooched. His horse looked like the only real contender outside of. It wasn't Chris. I apologize. It was Eric. Eric Goodell. We wear the same suit. It's my fault. I thought I had everybody where I wanted them, and it turned out I didn't. Now, I can only imagine. I can hear Greg, because I'd watched some races with him, saying, you're going too fast down the backstretch. The speed's too hot. I just felt that I wanted to go enough for me to assert that I had the best filly. And it wasn't an ego thing. It was just, I didn't want to get beat by a cheaper horse because I drew them up into the race. And the way that the filly was floating along unchallenged, and you can say, well, she was unchallenged because you were going too hot. In hindsight, you're probably right. But the way she felt to me, she just felt strong. She felt really strong. And when Eric popped out getting into the turn, I'm like, where are you going? And we stepped on it. I figured off at 55 and 3, the way she felt, 52 and 3, 52 and 4. She's a winner. What more could you ask from that filly? And what filly in the grassroots division, in the Buckeye division, could beat her? I can tell you, there's two. Now, I guess the only saving grace in all of this, because I'm obviously a little mad at myself, but I just feel we got beat fair and square. And I guess the only solace was the horse that beat us for second, Pink Jammies, is a sister to the Perfect Sting filly we bought in Lexington. And not only is she a sister, and no disrespect to Pink Jammies, but the sister we bought is a much better looking individual, the Perfect Sting, than I don't even know who this one's by. Maybe racing. I have no idea. So third, beaten fair and square. I guess I was a little bewildered as to the speed of the horse in behind me, but like Logan's horse, good for him. This guy works hard. Logan Ebersol is stabled right across from us at Northfield Park. So if we're gonna get beat, you know what? Good for Logan for getting the job done. And I wish we had of. And now, do I wish I had went, tipped her over backwards to go 27 and 3, 57 and 2? Yeah, if I had a chance to run it back, I suppose that's fair. But I just, at the time, it just felt like she was really good. So one of those times you just feel like an idiot when you come off the track, right? At the time, everything felt like it was going great. She felt like she did in Delaware, just coasting. And really, I wasn't even sure. I knew the one horse I was going to have to deal with, but I thought that it was going to be a bigger chore for her to tackle me than me to win the race. And clearly, she had more than enough speed. So congratulations to the Connections. Now, the 2-year-olds. I want to get to the 2-year-olds. Allie's got grit, made a break yesterday. I want to talk to Jim too. I don't know when the finals are in Illinois. Obviously, I want to commit to going out there and seeing if we can get these guys squared away, because it's just been a bit of a tough run in Illinois for sure for us. So it's certainly not Jim's fault, just the way the horse racing is. He's a great horseman, good guy, and I'd stand behind him. If I can go out and help, I certainly will. And if I have the time to slide out to Illinois for the finals, then that's exactly what I will do. Arrowhead Hanover ended his season last week with a win in the Keystone Classic. A great job by Ronnie Wren and Tim and everybody with that colt. Aunt Lily gets her crack at the Consulate. Now, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, because everybody thinks she can't do it in the Sire Stakes. Make no mistake, if I could have steered her the other day and come slow and grind up along Chris, I think I'm 1-2. But I just couldn't drive her. Now, I believe we found some issues that we're going to work on with her. And although she didn't get in the Consolation on Sunday, which I thought she would, She'll be trained up tight and she'll be ready to go for her last start, which looks like it's going to be the Constellation in the Sire Stakes Constellation, or quite frankly, if one of those horses don't show up to race, she's going to be in the $300,000 final. Bluebird Tuxedo Hill will be coming in tomorrow, rejoining the barn. We're going to keep an eye on his blood and work on it, but for right now, by all accounts, he looks good and he'll be back with us very soon. What do you need, sweetheart?
My toys.
Your toys are in there? What are you doing with so many toys in here? You're silly. There you go. There you go. You want this one too? And the wolf? All right, there you go. Blue Ventura will be coming back in a few weeks, I guess. None of the horses are getting any more than 4 to 6 weeks off. You know, we've done this in the past where we just thought we'd leave them out in the field for 3 months. I don't see this magical improvement that we've seen in the past. So we're going to switch things up with a number of horses, and Blue Ventura is one of them. Cadeau also will probably be coming back in the next. Actually, if he's out at Callie's, he might be coming back in tomorrow. He'll be coming back in soon. Okay. Captain Incredible, I'm going to train him Monday morning in the race bike, probably go a mile 2.7, 2.8, get a feel for where he's at. Then I'm going to have Dr. Latessa go all over him again with a fine-tooth comb, see how where we're at with these knees, and continue on with him. Listen, I think everybody saw today the miles and 48 from the Pacers. Those are waiting for us, the Breeders' Crown. Maybe not the Governor's Cup. Yeah, I think it's the Governor's Cup. Or the Matron, but definitely the Breeders' Crown. So it's not the end of the world. It's one of those things where I wish, but not really wish we were there. I think we're going to have a real good sophomore, and I just want to make sure we get a crack at it. If we can get a crack at a couple more races with him, I want them to count. I just don't want them to show up and say, there's our horse in the program at 20-1. I want him to show up and be a contender. So that's what we're trying to do, is to gauge, is he going to be a contender safely, and where is that contention going to take place? Century Legion will bring back in a few weeks also. I'm tempted to bring him over to Ohio, and I may very well do that. We're going to move some of our 3-year-olds training back to Toronto, that over to Ontario with Dominic and or Harry, and bring maybe a horse like Century Legion over to Ohio. That's quite possibly a little prisoner exchange for the fall and the winter. We'll see how that goes over. Chicago Hall's got one race left. That's the final. Man, he looked very good in his last race. I'm really happy with him. Country Dancing will be out. She's out now, and she'll remain out. Just trying to think of where we put her. She'll remain out for she had Haley's. That's where she is. She'll remain out for another 5 weeks, let's say. Dancing by Myself is back in now and jogging. He looks very good. He's in Ontario, in case you're wondering. We did have him here. We moved him over to Ontario. Fire and Shine is racing in the Constellation 2 on Sunday night. That will be her last start of the season. Foxy Seaside will come back in about 3 weeks. We'll get her back going. Gaslight Hall. I trained Gaslight Hall this morning. He was very good. We're prepping him for Oak Grove, for Corbin coming up in another 9-10 days. So very happy with what I've seen from him. Gorgeous package. That's what I opened with in this video, and just been such a good filly for us all season long. Won twice in 54. Third, beat 5 lengths in 51-3, 51-4 right there, and looked very good. So a great job by everybody there, and she still has the $100,000 consolation left, to make no mistake. That mile right there should Ollie should do very well for her in the consolation at Northfield Park, her home turf. Grand Old Chap is going along very nicely right now. Very happy with him. He's been in 230. Ollie, that's yours. Turn it down, please. So Grand Old Chap is training really well. Grand Slam Dio is also training well. I trained her today. I told you guys in the video earlier. Made a break, but there's a whole lot going on. Lost her toe aids. I took the bell boots off her. Then they scraped the track bare like pavement. She got trained up. We'll go back and train her again next week the same way at the Red Mile. Gymboree was third in 55-40. I thought she looked rather flat, to be honest. We've expected this filly to have a breakout race. The race with Jody was great. She was second, beat a length in 55. I thought she raced great, but she just hasn't come back consistently there. So it's something we got to work on. She got the great gait, and it's not her attitude. So we'll see how this transforms. Obviously, we're targeting Corbin with this filly. High Hopes should come back in very soon. I suspect the next load when Jacob brings the last group of yearlings over, homebreds over, the Miss Mildred, who people continue, she's coming. Relax. We'll bring High Hopes back with her. I Don't Play Nice can go on that truck also. I'm a Trucker is training well. He's been in 225 a couple of times. We'll continue to bring him down slow and aim to have him ready to race latter part of the fall. I'm ready too. Exact same program. This horse has been training good and looked good. Leggy will begin training in another week or so. She's putting lots of jog miles on. I got to get this fixed up here. It says injured. She's well beyond injured, fixed and rehabbed, fixed, and back jogging and training, about to start training now. Manhattan Money, another month in the field. We'll bring him back. Melisandre will come back again. Another 3-4 weeks. We'll bring her back. Memento Mori. Not very often you say a world record, right? We had 2 with 2-year-old trotting geldings. I set one with, I set a 2-year-old world record with White Tiger as a 2-year-old on a 5/8 mile track of 55, and then it was destroyed in Philadelphia by Amigo Volo about 2 years after that. But we did have a world record with him too. So that's 2 world record holders that we've had in the barn. He was awesome yesterday. So proud of him. Great job by everybody involved, Scotty and Kathy and Eric. My Wicked Heart, I jumped over Mountaineer Prince. He's going to have, I don't mind giving him another 6-7 weeks off and then bringing him back. My Wicked Heart can come back anytime. She's only getting 4 or 5 weeks off. Then we'll train her back, race her, and she'll likely leave. Never Lose Felix is over in Ontario. I'm very curious. Very, very curious how this horse is going to train down. I like this horse a lot. Oh Hill Knows ready to come back in soon also. Very light jogging for a month, and when Mike says her knees are perfect, then we start training her. Pelican Al's been in 212, so he's getting close to the races. We'll train him up real good this week. Resolve Indeed, her season's all done. She's out in the field. Rose Run AJ is out in the field also. We'll bring him back in 5 weeks. We'll bring him back. Rose Run Alexander races Sunday night in Constellation. That'll be her last start of the season. Constellation 2 she'll race in. I think that's it, right? Yes. Does she have this? Don't quote me on that. I have to look into that. I think it's her last start. Rosetta will be back in about 4 or 5 weeks. I was so tempted to buy her sister. Jake Mossberger did. She's a beautiful Jim Perry filly. Rosetta is a walnut, and she'll be back in jogging and going in about 4 weeks. She sits at the bar, still rinse and repeat every day. She's a little bit better, but still sore on that leg. It's just going to take time. And as I said to everybody, if it looks like in November or December that she's just not going to be that filly, then we'll probably switch gears and look at maybe potentially breeding her. But again, that bridge is way down the road. Way down the road. There's no point trying to extrapolate and say, well, maybe way down the road just yet. Southwind Idex in Ontario going now, as is Speed of Sound. Both of them are in Ontario. Trevino and Green, another horse you might see make a little travel, make a little, have a little sleepover for a while in Ohio, as we start to train him back. And Westland Warrior won last week. We'll probably train him up before we send him down to Corbin, but he's been good. What a Lady, What a Night made a break. And again, the dynamic duo here of these two horses, that's obviously sarcasm. I'm just disappointed with the way these two have gone. They both led you to believe and led me to believe after a couple of races, geez, they're coming forward, and they just haven't been able to get it together and keep it together and put things forward throughout the season. So a little disappointed, but hopefully we can pull things together for the final. And then obviously Woodmere Betcha, this filly's now training. We got her cleaned up, green light from the vet. She is now training in Prince Edward Island. What do we do next? I don't know. Let's get her trained down, and then we'll figure that out. So with that, though, you now are all caught up with your 2-year-olds. I'm going to get you some 3-year-old videos here in a minute and get back to racing. We get Irresistible Sun from Post 8 tonight, so we're going to need a little luck there. We'll see how that plays out. Take care.